In section 8.2, we're going to be sketching some graphs and comparing them with the parent function. So at this time, I want you to graph the x squared function and the x squared plus 2. So pause the video and take a moment to do that. In red is a very rough graph of the x squared, and in blue is a very rough sketch of x squared plus 2. So basically what we see in these two graphs is that the blue one is a translation up by 2 units, and that's what the plus 2 is showing us, that it moves up 2 units. In B, we're going to graph 2x squared and then 2x squared minus 2. So take a moment to do that. So in red we have 2x squared, and in blue we have 2x squared minus 2. So on this one we see two of the basically the same graphs, but again, this is just a translation down this time. The minus 2 tells us it went down 2 units. At this time, take a moment to graph A and B, paying very close attention to where everything crosses the x-axis, because on these two we're going to be looking specifically for the x-intercepts of the graph. So you can do this in your graphing calculator and transfer it to your paper. In this one we can see that it's crossing the x-axis somewhere between the 2 and the 3 and the negative 2 and the negative 3. So when we are working this problem out, or we're trying to find the, in this case it was zeros, we can actually use our graphing calculator. When we go to second trace, we're going to choose zeros in this case, and it actually makes you kind of pick points between two, like you would have to guess, say a -5 and a 0, and it would tell you where it's crossing. Now this one's not crossing in an exact place. Sometimes they're crossing in an exact location and it's easy for us to find, but when it refers to the x-intercept or the zeros or the roots, it's just where is it crossing the x-axis. This one's a little bit easier to find your x-intercepts because they occurred in exact locations. So this one actually crosses the x-axis at -1 and 1. And so those would be the solutions or the roots to this problem. Take a few minutes at this point to define each of these vocabulary words. So in our core concepts, what we're looking at here are what happens when we are adding or subtracting and then sometimes multiplying a number in front of the x. So in this one, basically what we're looking at here is this plus c. So if your c is positive, you're adding a number to it, it's going to shift your graph upward. If it's negative, it's going to shift your graph downward. Okay, it's changing where it crosses the y-axis. At this point you need to work on the puzzle worksheet. And then tomorrow you'll have an online assignment. It should be in there already today, but you need to work on it in class tomorrow, and you can work together as a group. You can help each other figure out how to calculate the zeros on your graphing calculator. So again, you're going to use the trace button, your second trace, and then you're going to choose the menu item that says zeros, and you'll have to pick a point to the left and a point to the right of what you're looking at to try to find where it crosses.